Nobody wants to plead guilty, but sometimes that is the first step toward getting back in charge of your life. When the government brings a federal charge against an individual, particularly somebody who doesn't perceive himself as being criminally oriented, it can bring a real series of problems and sleepless nights. And sometimes you try to self-medicate with alcohol or other substances. But what we have to do is really figure out how to develop a plan that will lead to a better outcome, a plan that will sometimes lead to getting a higher level of liberty at an earlier time. And none of that happens by accident. A lot of times that results in a guilty plea that you may negotiate with a plea agreement. You may do that even before there is a grand jury indictment by agreeing to plead guilty to a criminal information or a criminal complaint. When you're making that plea agreement, you are effectively stopping a lot of the work that the government would have to do. And they're going to reward you by recommending a lower sentence. I didn't do that when I was a young man. And as a result, I spent a fortune on defense attorneys, and I served a sentence that was significantly longer than I would have served had I known how to engineer an effective mitigation strategy. So the question for you is, how much can you take? How much can you take with regard to having lawyers pull the strings on your life? How much can you take with regard to how much money you're going to spend investing in a legal defense? How much can you take in figuring out what your reputational damage is, what the damage is going to be to your family and loved ones? Because the way to start moving forward a lot of times is to enter a guilty plea with a plea negotiation of some type, so you can start working toward getting back on your feet again. None of that happens by accident. You've got to think. You've got to be willing to work hard on yourself and on helping your lawyer advocate for you in an effective way. A lot of people hire a lawyer and they said, I have the best lawyer in the world, I don't have any problems. The challenge with that mindset is if you don't give your lawyer the cards to play, your lawyer can't do a lot. The prosecutor will have plenty of resources that he can draw upon. You've got to be working on a mitigation strategy that will help your lawyer advocate for you in the best way possible. And I never ask anybody to do anything I didn't do. That's why you'll see all of the content we produce at Prison Professors is to help people position themselves for the best possible outcome. Your family, they know why you shouldn't be serving time in prison, but you're not trying to build this case for your family. You're trying to build this case for very cynical people who may look at you and say, you should have known better. Instead of having mercy on you, I'm going to be harder on you. And it's up to you to change that mindset. You also have to be thinking about the other side. Many times the government will tell you, we're not going to do a press release on this matter, but there are factors that the government uses. In fact, there's an entire manual on federal court media basics, the journalist's guide. There's a justice manual that talks about confidentiality and media contacts policy that I'm looking at right now, and you should look at as well, because you need to be thinking about all the ways that having a challenge with the criminal justice system is going to influence you, your family, your income potential. And I know it's hard to look at that information, but you can't navigate a strategy for a guilty plea without really understanding everything. And I encourage you to use the resources that we offer for free or our low-cost resources. I would never ask anybody to do anything I didn't do, but I served 26 years in federal prison because I didn't understand in the beginning, I didn't understand what steps I could take to start building a plan, putting priorities in place, building tools, tactics, and resources, making adjustments as necessary, and then effectively just executing that plan every day. And the second that you start to do that, you start to restore confidence and you feel better about yourself because you're not only waiting for the attorneys to pull the strings on your life. If you're tired of being a puppet, start getting ready by just educating yourself on what you should know. And the more you know about pleading guilty, the more you'll learn about the criminal justice system and the more effective you will be at engineering a mitigation strategy that works for you. My name is Michael Santos. I'm the founder of Prison Professors, and I believe in you.